Here, I want to talk about moving into your spiritual power and why and how the trauma integration and healing process is the exact process of moving into your spiritual power. And if you ever hear a teacher or a practitioner talking about trauma healing and nervous system healing as a separate process from process of moving your spiritual power, do not listen to them. I'm going to tell you why. So what happens is we begin like this. Our trauma and our intuition, imagine a cord or a thread that are intertwined like this, right? Our trauma and our intuition are like this. Moving into your spiritual power and embodying your spiritual gifts is going to be the process of going from this to this. So from the intertwining and envelopment between your trauma and your intuition to having clear, distinct differences between your intuition and your trauma. The best example of this is going to be shown in your relational choices before you do any deep embodied somatic trauma healing work. Who you choose, what you're attracted to, what you're drawn to. For example, if you come from patterns of sexual abuse, you are going to be like, oh my God, you're going to follow this. Your trauma is going to be so enveloped with your intuition. There's so much chemistry. I'm so attracted to them. I'm so drawn to them. I know them from a past life. Like, what is that about? But you're choosing from this, right? So you're actually choosing, and let's say the secondary gain that you get from that selection process is disgust. So you choose someone that predicates off your own inner self-disgust, meaning self-abandonment, self-sabotage, choosing situations that prompt the ego self-disgust. Maybe that's from your lifetime, or maybe that's been living generationally from the origin of ancestral abuse of some type of self-disgust, either people treating you this way or you treating yourself. So you're selecting from here, right? And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I don't fucking trust myself, right? Because you followed your intuition, you followed what you were drawn to, and it led you to this trauma bond or this twin flame or this karmic relationship. And so now the process is you have to begin to separate your trauma and your intuition, where you begin to look at the secondary gains that your ego and your trauma get from the selection process so you can separate them. What this means is learning to trust yourself in a different way. Learning what creates an empowering outcome versus a disempowering outcome. And so as you separate your trauma and your intuition, you go from this to this. Now you can begin to trust your spiritual gifts and powers and actually use your spiritual gifts and powers to move into a blank canvas creation rather than a recreation of your trauma and your ancestors' trauma.